Colin Quinn. How about a nice round of applause, Elvis, for the legend CQ on the couch.
Yeah.
What do you say, Colin? You said you judge everybody's opening. How did we do?
I like the opening. I just hate when people have like hard rock, like where's so it's like you're not radio for shock jock from the 90s, asshole. Oh, it makes me mad.
We got to grab the attention. It's all about the algorithm.
Like, we're edgy. It's like, shut up. Just be quiet.
It is funny that stand-up comedy, I remember starting it and being like, yeah, it's all about the craft. I'm just going to do my jokes.
Right.
And I was like, radio's, I used to like listening to certain shows, but I was like, those shock jocks are clowns. And then somehow, you're like, oh, I'll be a guest on someone's podcast 10 years ago. And then here we are 10 years later, and I'm like, call the number, folks, and leave us a voicemail.
But that's not shock jock. I was around for the real shock jocks.
Yes.
So the shock jocks would come in, and it was really an interesting dynamic because they kind of hated comedians.
Of course.
Except for certain ones, especially all of us who were like, we're not doing our bits for these idiots.
Yeah, we won't dance for you.
Set us up in a bit. Yeah. So they'd be like, hey, man. And you could tell they resented because, they'd done a couple of stand-up nights with their radio and it bombed. So there would be this hostility.
Yes, of course.
A lot of times with the jock.
Yeah.
Where, it was like back and forth. And we all thought they had a bad attitude. We didn't know we also had a bad attitude.
Of course. Oh, my God.
We didn't even notice that part.
Yeah, you're pissed to just be awake that early.
Yes.
I was never good one time when they made me go. And I thank God it was dying by the time I started headlining. It was like I only had to do it a handful of times. I did it with Bobby a couple times, and I couldn't believe we were up at 4.
Yeah,
it was like, crazy. What the fuck? What is this? How could this possibly help ticket sales? It didn't feel. It didn't
but
feel
it
like
does.
it. But yeah,
that's a weird thing. Local radio really was the only thing that worked for ticket sales. You could do Letterman and be like, "I'll be here in Cleveland tomorrow night." It didn't mean anything.
Right.
Nobody watched. But if you did local radio, it was the only thing that worked.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this helps. Hopefully this helps.
It's going to move the needle. Stamps and tea. Stamps and tea.
I'm so happy I didn't do it in the opposite direction. I almost said tea and stamps. Stamps and tea. Well, new special on YouTube. Right, pause right now. Don't even watch this bullshit. Colin's got a special right now about the election. It's it's over now. Trump has declared martial law. By the time you're listening to this podcast, it's over. Kamala has given $400 billion more to Israel, or Trump has also done that and declared martial law. But watch the pod. Watch this special. Think about a more quaint time when we could have specials before they're outlawed. So that's nice. This will come out in maybe a couple weeks. I don't even know when. But
nice. Whatever.
It'll have faded.
Nothing matters. Well, that's it. Everything's saturated so much now that nothing does matter on a certain level.
It's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you just do it.
There's something freeing almost about that.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, hey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like everybody's just like, wait, I'm sorry, I missed your last 2 specials.
Yeah.
It's my fault.
I know it is. Everything's just one big morass, and hopefully something
but it's
happens.
also because you're, which you guys knew, which it took me years to understand myself, but because I was old. But you guys understood you're a small business, and that's it.
Yeah,
everybody's their own business.
That is actually
and that's it. There's no show business. You're your own business.
Yeah.
And some are bigger, some are small, but they're all.
It's helpful to come from. That is how every Greek looks at everything.
Yes.
It is kind of, and we couldn't be more on the nose here. I'm a Greek small business owner whose #1 employee is an underpaid Albanian with no training.
That's great. That's perfect.
On the job learning, baby.
On the job learning. Hilarious. Thank God it's just podcast producing.
Yeah, the Albanians I used to work in the Bronx in the 80s, and the Albanians were just becoming well known. And everybody said the same thing, which is they're not a lot of them, but if you want to go, they're going all the way.
Yeah.
They only were like in about 6 blocks, Decatur, a few blocks in the West Bronx, and they were not playing games.
Yeah.
And everybody respected them because the Bronx was so wild in the 80s.
Sure.
I mean, I was from Brooklyn, but I worked there. But they just did not play games.
Yeah.
They would fight to the death. And it was really respected. And it should be.
Well, we have a kindler, gentler Albanian. He's been through a couple,
I'm Machiavellian. I'm plotting.
Oh, really? Oh, you want to take over the business?
Albanians are the New World Order, man. Greeks are done. The empire has passed.
Nah, dude. Don't fuck. Listen.
They're like mountain people, right?
That is true. Eldest did his 23andMe, and he is what is it, 99%? One little fucking...
My sister did it, but yeah, we're pretty fucking thoroughbred. It's like 99.99% like Southeastern European, like mountain
like
village.
a 5 square mile patch is where Eldest comes from.
So funny.
We're pure.
I did a. Did you ever see the movie Montenegro? It's a great movie.
No,
I haven't seen it.
Yugoslavia, but it's close. But yeah, I did 23andMe, 97% Irish and 3% some Ireland off the coast of Ireland.
Oh, wow.
Same thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be like, oh, you never know, all these exotic things.
A little something.
How about yours? Did you do one?
My brother did. We're pretty much what you'd expect.
Greek,
Mediterranean, a little bit. He's a little bit, some strains of Middle Eastern, some shit like that,
Do you go to Greece?
I do, yeah. It's
great.
It's absolutely incredible.
It's amazing.
So you worked in the... I mean, it was fascinating about... Because you said you lived here.
Yeah.
You really are the most New York guy I can think of in many ways.
I'm pretty New York.
Non-Italian division.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like
Curtis
Irish.
Sliwa is the most the most New York guy ever.
Interesting.
Curtis Sliwa knows every street. He has the greatest story from every street.
Yeah. But it's because you grew up in Brooklyn.
Right.
And then you said you worked in the Bronx. And then when we were texting about doing the podcast, you said you lived in Astoria, which how does that happen? Because
I lived a couple of blocks from
that's
here.
Insane. Because like if you grew up in like people don't want to live here now, and you grew up in Brooklyn, why did you move to Astoria? I don't
know. Well, my friend got an apartment, and I was, I don't know why, but I mean it was crazy. It was so inconvenient.
Yeah, of course.
It was even farther. It was down by the bus depot. But I mean, so it was really convenient. I didn't last. I only lasted a few months. But
and how old? Like, what age were you when you
25, 26, 1985.
And
maybe.
you never left? You were here the whole time? You never moved? Like
I lived in LA for a couple of years.
But yeah,
I like LA. I liked it at the time. Everyone was like, "Oh, you must have hated it," but LA is very seductive.
Yeah.
You really get into it. If you love your car, you love LA.
I'm not a car guy.
No, but I mean, neither. But I'm saying, I mean, you're in a nice car.
You're in a little bubble. You know what I mean?
You're in a bubble. You have to be. Your car's your life.
Yeah.
You're always in a car. You ever see that movie Swingers where they all get in their car to go to one place and then they all get in their car? That's how LA is. Everybody gets in their own car for every little event.
Yeah.
Nobody gets
to go 5 blocks. Everyone's like, all right, man.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's I think it's a great visit town, but I do love. I mean, New York fucking rocks. But it's just so funny to think of you moving from. You grew up in Park Slope, right?
Yeah.
Which is that weird to you now? Where it's like. It must be insanely different. Was it just Irish?
No.
Or it was nice?
Very mixed.
Okay.
It was the most, it was like it was black, Puerto Rican, Irish, Italian, Jewish. Everybody lived there.
Interesting.
And it was really probably one of the earliest neighborhoods that was like that. But it wasn't bad, but it had wild.
Yeah.
There was wild things happening all over there. But
Sure.
It's hard to describe how New York was in those days. Like, you still were like, loved it.
Of course.
But there was things happening.
Yeah.
Like,
there was
sometimes if you look on the
park.
News now and you see like a horrendous crime, like that wouldn't even make the paper. Because there was, like, people would be like, what are you going to print that for?
Yeah, a guy got
slashed.
There
were 20 of them today.
Yeah.
So it was a weird, New York was a different vibe.
Was the park really fucked up? Because we grew up in East Baltimore. Eldest lived by a park that when we were kids, you couldn't walk through at night, and now it's like the most mellow play. Like he had a friend got the shit kicked out of him for his basketball by like 20 kids, and I assume the actual park was the park wild back
Central
in the
Park?
No, in Park Slope.
Prospect Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we used to play sports up there. No, I mean, people would go up there. But it wasn't. But it was empty. It was the park.
Yeah.
It's like any other park.
Gotcha.
You go to a park at the nicest place in the world at night. There's going to be some psycho there.
That is true. Yeah. That is a nice
Parks
thing society has figured out. It's like, look, you don't go to the park. It's the nicest, richest place in the world.
Yeah.
You need homeless guys jacking off somewhere. They need a haven to commit sex crimes on each other somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah. That's a nice piece of urban planning.
Yeah.
Were you in now this is gonna be offensive. Were you in a street gang? were you playing dice, combing your hair?
Yeah, those days were over.
The Irish Rovers or something like that.
Yeah. No, they didn't have that.
Wow.
I think the 70s was also going to be like the way it'll probably go after this. It was right after the 60s.
Yeah.
So now people are hyper political now.
Sure.
So they used to call it like the apathetic generation.
Yes.
Like the 70s, everybody made fun of, and gangs were there was gangs, but it wasn't like the 60s. People were like, took gang. It was kind of like old fashioned gang stuff.
Sure.
People were more independent, I feel like. And
that makes, yeah.
Like it was just a different time with drugs. I mean, it was such a drug time.
Sure.
And I feel like it was just like if you listen to music from the 70s, it's very hedonistic.
Right.
And even the soft rock was like trying to be in a good mood.
Yeah.
Because people were like, okay, we get it. You're political from the 60s. Right. But those people got older. Then the next generation makes fun of whatever the older people do.
Of course. Oh, I mean, absolutely. I do think the younger kids now, I mean, millennials are already starting to be, our generation is starting to be the most shit on for being corny. And just like, I mean, which happens all the time, but it's like all the political, I think the hope, I certainly feel the angle in myself of like, in college when Obama was there, wow, things are actually going to be good. Nothing good happens at all whatsoever. And then wait, Bernie, maybe we'll have fucking healthcare in this country. And then that doesn't, and then not only do we not get that, but fucking Trump happens. And then I certainly feel being 35, weirdly disillusioned. I can't imagine what the kids now feel like. I could see us returning to apathy and them just kind of being like checked out and maybe even too much. I mean, I keep hoping there'll be like Luddites, like a generation of kids that are like all this being this online is fucking stupid. But then you meet some of these kids, you're like, I never see that. I think they're constantly used to being on the
they're
internet.
not even going to think of it
they won't
think of it as like a weird thing. It would be like saying, hey, I hope the next generation doesn't buy cars and drive cars.
Right. Doesn't use the phone. Yeah. It doesn't call each other.
It's just part of it, you know?
Yeah.
But they're probably not going to, they'll probably mock any attempts by people to be like, here's the way it is. Here's what this stands for. Like, it's probably the bigger ideas, I'm assuming.
So you were an apathetic youth is what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was just a party. I mean, I would just go out and, in those days, pot. It's so funny because everybody smoked pot. Because my high school teacher, one of my math teachers, and I was terrible at math. But he moved to Park Slope, and I saw him in the street. I go, hey, you live in here? He goes, yeah, man. Listen, can you turn me into somebody with good pot? He just moved in.
You're in high school?
I was literally in high school. And he came up to me without worrying about any repercussions. And he said, this guy's a drug guy. I can just tell.
He's a piece of shit. I've seen him try and multiply.
And
he can't do long division. He knows how to get fucking pills and weed or something.
And I brought him right up to my friend. Mm-hmm. And I said, listen, this is the guy, he's my teacher, and he's looking for weed. And he wasn't like, teacher. It was oh, okay, like, I don't sell, like, he was just like, I don't sell nickels. And the guy's like, I know, I'm a teacher. I'm not going to buy a nickel bag. He's just,
hey, come on, I'm an adult. I'm going to buy $30 worth of weed.
Just sold him weed.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the whole, so it was really a pot society. Like, that's why when Saturday Night Live came on.
Yes.
We all loved it. Even though we didn't really watch it because we're in the middle of a party.
Of course.
Somebody put it on the background.
Yeah.
Because they were saying non-verbally, we smoke pot.
Of course. Yeah.
That was the whole subtext of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And they had a couple little references. And so we were just like, this is us. They're longhand. You could tell they were getting on it. They made a little reference to it.
Yeah.
And we're like, this is our show.
And that's all it took. Is just be like, this is ours. I don't have to watch fucking Gunsmoke reruns.
Right.
I get to fucking actually.
And every other comedy show is just a little bit older. Like, Carol Burnett Show is a hilarious show.
Yeah.
Really funny. So funny. We watch it all the time and laugh. But they weren't they weren't getting high. You could just tell.
Of course.
They didn't smoke pot.
Yeah, of course.
And this was the first show, so SNL, that's why it became so huge.
Interesting.
It was that show that was just like, we all get high,
Wow, to go from like it started from being high to now being, I don't know that there is a more establishment show than Saturday Night Live at this point.
Right.
It is complete. I mean, you can trace what that generation. I mean, Lorne Michaels is a great example of like the outside fucking drug guy to, you know, it just traces what it was like to go from the 70s to being like a successful person in 2030, which now it's like,
yeah, but I mean, I don't,
you know,
what's that now?
It's just interesting. It's like to go to what an entity starts at to now it sort of is like, I mean, I think it is the most established media property I can even fucking think of. It's the only
one left.
It's the only show people watch and think of.
It's the only one left.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's what his thing was. Like, here's why Lorne Michaels, like, really understood something. Because he came to New York. He watched something at taping there back when he was a kid.
Yeah.
It hit him forever. He's like, I want to do a show on that stage.
Yeah.
Got to do a show. But he understood that live. And to... Everybody always asks me on the show, when do you guys tape? We're like, no, it's live. They're like, oh, yeah, I forgot. But also, because he started in the 70s, you would watch him do what no other showrunner could do. He pushed around those executives. Like, he just, if they told him, yeah, we can't afford that, he's like, yeah, just do it. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And he just pushed them around.
Nice.
Because only in the 70s, that mentality where you could get away with telling the heads of things. He's like, no, they don't tell us what to do.
Interesting.
We tell them what to do. And I'm telling you, that was why it lasted.
Wow.
Because he just, and they're like, it's too much this year. He's like, all right, cut this, but don't listen to it. You know.
Was it still like that when you were?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Still.
In the 90s, he was still like that.
Yeah,
where he's
yeah.
like, he would just, you know, make fun of them and to their face.
Yeah, good. Damn.
Well, he'd just be like, well, okay, well, we'll take that under advisement. Like, he's just sarcastic to them.
Right.
But, like, he's like, no, I know you've run a lot of funny things. And, like, he's
Yeah. That's great that somebody did it.
That somebody did it.
Yeah.
So he was, and then now it's a different thing.
It's just so crazy because it's for you to get your perspective on that because, like, I have always thought of him as the guy who is, you know what I mean? Like,
I know, of course, you think that way.
You know, because it's like I grew up on You're like the first cast I remember is like maybe shortly before you got there through like the Will Ferrell, you know. So it's like it was already such a thing. Eddie Murphy already happened. So much had happened, but it is, you know.
Well, you know. I'm not going to trash them on the 50th anniversary.
Oh,
I think it's in bad taste.
I'm not trashing.
It's the 50th year. But if I
trying to get the invite, huh?
But if I
trying to get the invite to do 50th anniversary weekend update. Want to be right there with Shay?
No. I mean, no, I don't want any of that.
They're bringing fucking. I saw Dana Carvey's in there. Where's the Colin phone call? You know what I mean?
God, no. I mean, I'm invited to the show, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, that was. It was a weird fit. Let's just put it that way. For my,
you had a nice run though.
Yeah,
it was funny.
It was fine.
Yeah, folks, if you know me, you know I love a great deal. I love great deals more than you can ever imagine. But it's got to be easy. No hoops, no BS. So when Mint Mobile said it was easy to get wireless for $15 a month with the purchase of a 3-month plan, I called them on it. I was like, let's see about that. Turns out it really is that easy to get wireless for $15 a month. And the best part is the process to switch over is so simple. Eldest handled it for us. We switched over our business line to Mint Mobile. Tell the people how quick and easy it happened, Eldest.
I put that shit together, no problem. I was done in like 10 minutes.
And he's so stupid.
I did it all online. Already had the damn phone. It really was crazy easy. I thought it was going to be annoying as shit.
It was a dream. He thought he was going to have to lie for this ad, but it turns out it really is as easy as what they've paid us to say it is. We love Mint Mobile. We use it for our official business line here at Stavvy Baby Enterprises, and I want you to find out how easy it is to switch to Mint Mobile and get 3 months of premium wireless service for $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Stavvy. That's mintmobile.com/Stavvy. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Stavvy. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
But I mean, but no, that's not my.
Of course.
You know,
but you have had such a, truly one of the most insane, interesting careers of the levels of, you know, the first thing is probably the MTV stuff.
MTV was really
when that was like right at the at its most culturally big.
It was amazing. When I was on MTV,
And yeah, how
literally,
this is the early 80s? Or
no, like 88, 89.
Oh, okay.
We would go places. They would say it.
Yeah.
All these like news cameras be filming some kids event wherever it was, in Florida.
Yeah.
And kids would be like, yeah, making fun of the news guy. Get out of my way. MTV camera showed up. They would all just be like, now we're talking. It was like such a generational thing for them.
Yeah.
Those years especially.
Yeah.
Where they were just blown away, you know.
And you were like the sidekick on the, what was the remote? Was
remote control. I was like this Kenny Oba sidekick.
Yeah.
And Ken Oba, who died, rest in peace, he was so quick. He was he was a guy that did a lot of crowd work in comedy. And he was so funny and quick. And like you, he's very erudite. Like his references were just, when he's talking to the crowd, you're like taking it to a plane like you do.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's true. And it's funny, you know, because I never thought that about him till just now when I'm talking about this. Like I knew he was quick. Yeah. But we'd do these shows and I mean, I'd be crying and the crowd would laugh too.
Yeah.
Because he would just like always have a reference where you're like, he's just good at that, you know.
What a nice and you just get that and that, I mean, at that time that was the biggest, like that was the most emerging media thing. You just got to be like, were
the
you
biggest thing.
Was anything happening before? Was your career? Was anything going on before that?
No, only with stand-ups, you know. I was always you know, as Jay Moore often said, I was always a dog whistle. Only stand-ups. And then during the MTV thing, all these networks set up these meetings with me because I was popular. I went in, and when I tell you I sabotaged every one of them, it was pretty impressive.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose.
No, trying to make a good impression.
Trying to make an impression.
Yeah.
And then walking out and calling my agent, and he's like, what did you say? And I go, what? I left. It was great. It was great. Every time. And then years later, I look back and I go, oh, that's what you said. And I did that for a long time. And then I got a little reputation. I remember my ex-manager from the late 90s goes, hey, you know, you have a reputation as, you know, he said Dwayne Thomas was this famous old football player when I was growing up, which was great running back, bad mindset. And I go, what? I go, who said that? And even then I was like, he's got to be making it up. Nobody's talking about me. They have nothing better to do than think about it. But I guess in their world, everybody, not that they're talking about you, but they have you in a category where they ask around and people go, yeah, he's a fucking, you know.
People go,
he's got an attitude problem. And I never thought I had an attitude problem. That's when you really have one. Yeah.
You thought you were like,
I thought I was
tap dancing for them.
Well, I used to, I used to go in there and sit there and just imagine the arrogance. First of all, I'm smoking. Second of all the young people in their office are like, hey, when I come in, they will fucking love me from MTV.
Yeah.
Now I'm sitting with these old fucks.
Yeah.
They have a sitcom. The sitcom sucks.
Right, of course.
I tell them it sucks, but me and my friends will fix it for you. But again, I didn't know a producer was the writer. So I didn't know they wrote the show too.
Oh, gotcha,
so I'm telling people to their face,
what they made.
Hack.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I did this once. I did this 8 to 12 times. Sitting room, and their face is getting angry. And me never putting it together.
Hey, man, the thing you fucking poured your soul into for 2 years, dog shit. Me and the guy that I do cocaine with, though, you give us a weekend or two, we'll fucking button it up for you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go try to fuck the girl who greeted me. I gotta go.
See, that's why he's so good. When you talk to the crowd, it gets very psychological and very in-depth like that. That was exactly where I was at. That's exactly where my mentality was.
I mean, yeah.
My mentality was like,
yeah.
So
no, I get it. It's just and also going from like to stand-up fame or just doing spots or whatever, especially at a time where it doesn't feel like culturally anybody gave that much of a fuck about stand-up.
Nobody gave a fuck.
So to go from nothing and toiling to famous, and also with like hot young people too at the time.
Yeah,
that's tough for the psyche of a young man to stay even sort of humble.
Well, I used to always say, Two of the stories after. One is we went to me and Kenny. He said, we're really famous.
Yeah.
And I go, no, we're not, because I was in New York City and there was that many young kids. He goes, I went to this thing. All these people swamped me. So I go, I don't think that's true. We go down to Orlando, Florida. We go to a strip club. We walk in the strip club. All the strippers leave their customers and come running over to us.
Oh my God! I mean, that would have ruined me. If that, there's no way I know how to act.
I go, this is not good. I go, this is bad. And then the other one, and that was too much.
Yeah. And you were a single man at the time?
Single man.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was insane.
Yeah.
And the other thing was we would do these things, like wherever we went, suddenly people, like, I remember doing this gig, and I wasn't, by the way, my act was so local New York area. Right. I didn't belong in it. I'm doing a gig. I get off the plane. It's Southwest Missouri State, Dennis Weaver Drive. I still remember. And I see this long line of 3,000 people going to a show at the college, and I'm by myself, and I go,
3,000.
I go, where are they going? And he goes, ha ha ha. So I was like, oh, I figured. I'd done a couple of colleges with like 80 people.
There must be a basketball game.
Show. I was like, somebody.
Oh, great! I'm competing with the basketball game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I walk backstage in the back of this order, and I go, what? 3,000 people that don't want to hear like Subway jokes from the 80s. And
so about losing your tokens.
I went up there and they didn't care. They just sit there. There's little kids. Some of them were kids. I'm sitting there for like an hour. I'm talking. They're kind of not laughing, but they're like, hey, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then I just sign. Afterwards, they would go, will you sign? I go, sure. I'm there for 2.5 hours signing everything. No pictures. Nobody had a camera.
Right.
Maybe three people. Like, there's no camera phone.
Right.
So we're just signing
autographs.
people's stuff.
Hilarious.
Yeah. And then one time I go to Kenny, because Kenny, like I said, was very witty. And do you know who? Anyway, I'll say it, and maybe you'll know his name, or maybe you won't. But he goes, I was saying, we're doing all this MTV shit, the show. It's Brady Bunch questions. What are we doing? We're turning to hacks. This is bullshit. I'm complaining before this thing we're doing this show. I go, we're going out here. These people.
Yeah. I'm an artist, man.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm an artist. So then after the show, this girl comes out, beautiful girl, and she goes, Colin, sign it. And she takes that, and I'm like this. I got the marker, and Kenny goes, hey, Spalding Gray, are you still feeling regrets about your art? Because Spalding Gray was like a one-man show guy.
Wow, look where you ended up. You're doing your penance now. Now you're a fucking one-man show guy. all the lines off tits you did in the 80s.
But how funny is that? He goes, hey, Spalding Gray. He looks at me, perfect timing. I'm like that with a pen. Like mid-sign, I'm like, all right, fair.
you got me, brother.
Yeah, basically, he was like, why don't you throw the pen down and walk off, Mr. Integrity?
Yeah. Here's the moment where it really counts. Here's the moment, face to face with with one tit out.
But it was a great, like, we had so much fun because, speaking of executives, all the executives, they came to my show last week in LA. They weren't executives. They were like young music fans that went to MTV at the right time.
Yes.
So they loved us. We'd all go out all together as a party.
Yeah.
So you had friends every time we went to an event. There'd be 50 people that all wanted to go dance and hang out.
Yeah.
And, just whatever it was. And at that time,
that's beautiful. That's like, that is
really beautiful.
Right place, right time. What's the come down like off that?
The come down was pretty event.
Yeah.
The come down was... I was with Mario Joyner, a funny comedian. He was on MTV too. And he goes, because he goes, because he was living in New York too. And he goes, I used to come on the subway. People go, taking the subway? Now he goes, now I get on. People go, taking the subway. So, you had first class flights sometimes, and now you're back in coach all the time.
Yeah.
And that was, you're right. It was,
that's tough.
You had to get used to it,
What was was there a moment where you're like, the MTV, being the Beatles is over?
It ended quick. I mean, I left the show because it was just too much for me at that point.
But you were on it for how long? Like
2 years, 2.5 years. But I was like, I can't do it again. I was literally lying on the couch. I go, guys, I can't do another season. They go, yeah, but one more. I go, no, I'm telling you, I can't do it with Kenny. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I was so
And was it the artistic stuff?
Yeah, it was just
you had
we
your
played
fill
it
of
out.
drugs
It was
and
great.
pussy, and you were like, I did it.
Well, I didn't do any drugs. I was
you're
clean
sober
back then. Yeah.
Oh wow.
But I mean, and that was hard. That was
Wow.
That was hard.
Staying sober.
That was hard.
Through that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you had other outlets.
I mean, I had a lot of girlfriends and I had a lot of cigarettes. That was it.
Yeah.
But I mean, but that was it. Yeah. But I mean, that was hard because
That is,
there was a lot of drugs, a lot of drinking going on, all around, for free.
Yeah.
But I knew if I did it, I
it's one thing to buy cocaine. It's the thing. It's one thing not to buy it.
I was offered to go to so many parties that I turned down because, you know, I've told this, I'm sure, but one time in the elevators, Kenny Ober, Sam Kinison.
Oh hell yeah.
Who's the greatest guy. And and he was a coke guy, you know.
Oh yeah.
And a couple other guys in the elevator with all these strippers from like whatever, we're Daytona Beach, wherever we are. Yeah. And then I go and I just thought to myself, they're all going up to this big penthouse. You got the whole top floor of some hotel, and then I just realized I gotta get out of here. I can't go.
Yeah.
I go, I'm gonna end up doing coke and dying.
Yeah.
And so I just got out of the elevator on my floor, and you just see the door show. I can still see the visual of Sam Kinison looking at me like this. The girl, Kenny knew.
Yeah.
And the girl's looking like, fuck your bro. And the door's just shutting. I went to my room and cried.
Yeah. That's The Godfather.
But I had no
when he shuts the door at the end.
Yeah.
You were Kay. You're like, I'm out of this life.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, what you're doing, I
don't want to see you, Colin.
Yeah.
Sam Kinison next day. If we do gigs together, I want you to do your spot and then leave.
You will vacate the green room before I am to arrive.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, there is no way I would have survived. I mean, I understand why every fat comedian died.
I would have died.
There's no way I would have survived what you're describing. Even
Right.
one iota of that. I had a rule. I stopped doing it at 30. I was like, it's either fat or cocaine. You can't do both after 30.
You're very smart because I had a lot of friends die from coke.
And also like less people didn't know asthma. I mean, now there's been so much clear research of like what happens. When it was newer, you know, and you could lie to yourself like, we're just having a good time, but
you're right. No, coke killed it killed a lot of people, not overdose. They died of heart failure the next day.
Yeah, I felt it. I mean, you feel it too.
They do something the next day, and then they work out or whatever they try to do the next day, and they all die.
Yeah,
it's really bad.
I know. We had another plus size comedian on here, and the analogy was when you're using a laptop.
Yeah.
And you hear the fan going really hard. That's what a fat person on cocaine is like. That's what my heart felt like every time I did cocaine. I was like, oof, I got to go plunge myself into a bath or something.
God, yeah. No, I had a heart attack a few years ago, so I'm always, whenever I hear my heart going in a different, I'm like, it's a whole different vibe now.
Yeah, absolutely. No. I can fucking totally imagine, but
there's nothing you can do about it either. It's so funny because I'm like, then I'm like, hey, what am I gonna do if I die?
You can't stretch your heart out, you know. Yeah, that's tough. So okay, well, I'm just so fascinated about so you had that high ass run, and you were like, and then you wanted to commit yourself to the art again. Is that what happened?
Yes.
Or what?
I went back to stand up, and I really felt like. You know what I mean? Like I loved MTV. I never denied MTV was the greatest. So it's not like I was like, oh my God, I wish it. I loved it.
Yeah.
When it was happening, I loved it, and afterwards, I loved it.
Yeah, that's nice though. It's like being on like a college football team that won the championship.
Yeah.
You can look back on it fondly. You don't want to stay in school forever though.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
But I did love it. But then I started doing stand up and really throw myself into it and doing one man shows back then even. And like that was my thing. Like I really did want to just try to, and I've been writing screenplays, you know, for like all these years because in my mind I was always like, well, I'm surrounded by the funniest people in the world. How is everybody in comedy not in charge of? How aren't there like 30 Woody Allens?
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to figure this out. And I never did yet. But because I'm like, how are there not 30 Woody Allens? There's so many funny people.
Yeah.
You talk to stand-ups. I mean, you know.
Of course, yeah. And it's
I
mean, I made an indie movie, and
I know. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, but thank you. And go watch it, guys. Let's Start a Cult. It should be on VOD by now. But that was part of the thinking was, I'll just write some bullshit. I know so many funny people.
Yes.
If they just come in for a day, and it's true, they just elevated. Everything was funnier because of the cast, and it's like,
yes.
But you were so you must have been like you were actually like fulfilled at that time, or did it ever get like? Were you good for money, or oh no, shit was bad? Well, how was it going?
Yeah, I had no money.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point, I'll give you an example. After MTV, like probably 2 years, maybe 2 years afterwards, I had to move back in with my mother.
Oh no! After MTV.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could have done more road stuff.
Sure.
I guess when I look back on it now, but I had no money.
Yeah.
I had no money, and I wasn't getting road gigs.
How old were you?
Probably 32, 33.
Oh, tough. Because I moved back in.
I'm walking down.
Yeah. Wow. Because I mean, I did that. I moved back in with my parents. I stayed after college. I was in Baltimore doing stuff, and I was like, I need to save some money and move to New York. But you had already gone through.
I was from New York.
One cycle. Yeah. You had to move back to Brooklyn.
I lived in L.A. Yeah, no, it was very. I mean, the funny thing is, even though it was very humbling, of course.
Yeah.
But it was also like, it felt good because my sister was there with her little daughter.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
So, and we were in this little apartment, and it was like something about
the four of you.
Yeah.
Your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But something about it, I was like,
your Irish tenement roots.
I didn't feel as bad. I didn't feel this was in Bay Ridge now.
Okay.
So, but I just didn't.
But it had that feeling, that fresh from Ellis Island feel.
It was just
3 generations in one house.
All land was this guy, Mr. Kelly, who was a real pain in the ass too. Old Mr. Kelly was a dick. But he was. But it was one of those things where when I look back on it, I was like, I did enjoy it.
Of course, yeah.
Your mom, mama's boy,
of course.
My sister and her daughter. But it's funny. But I was there. I don't know how many months I was there. I was there for a few months, maybe 3 months.
What's the? So you were a mama's boy though when you were growing up.
Sure, I was a mama's boy.
How many siblings did you have?
I was a mom. 2 sisters, 1 brother.
2 sisters, 1
but
brother.
This one was my other one had lived upstate. My brother was somewhere else. So it was me and my sister. I mean, when I remember it now, I almost forgot about it. But walking down that block, and people just, you know how it is. The first day, people are like, hey, but then they're like, I guess.
Yeah.
Everybody knows life takes some weird turns.
Yeah. You have to be like, my mom's sick. But just helping her.
No, I didn't feel embarrassed at all.
Interesting. Plus, I would if I had to go back to Greektown right now, and moved back in after all the. I was also kind of a. I don't know if you ever felt this way, but it was like I definitely felt like, fuck these idiots. Like I always felt like that superior. I mean, because you're from New York, it's a different thing.
No, I didn't feel that.
Everyone that moves here is the guy that thinks, I'm better than fucking these morons I grew up with. So we used to hate
that when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Because when anybody moved here and they go, oh, these bridge and tunnel people, I go, oh, the people that are from here? Shut up. It used to drive me crazy.
Yes.
It's like I would describe
the people you displaced.
As somebody who would not hold the door open for some old lady with her bags.
Right.
That's what I used to describe it like.
Right.
It used to drive me crazy. Like people go in New York and they get mad. If you say you're not New Yorkers,
right.
People get mad even if they're not from here.
Yeah.
We're like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the 10-year mark is where I would feel the ability to even sort of claim, some kind of half. It's like your green card or something to be able to on the path to New York citizenship. It's like 10 years is the first step, and then whatever.
Oh, because you're Greek, maybe and
I live in Astoria and I'm Greek.
So we might
people
let it
assume,
slide.
But yeah, thank you. Yeah, as long as you ethnically
Albanians,
stay
you
with
should live in either Staten Island or the Bronx.
That would be so fucking funny. You start commuting from Staten Island to do this.
A lot of Albanians over there.
Yeah. The Bronx would be awesome.
But no, I would not. I would not be able to go back as like a need to be there. I love going back there as
I know, but sometimes you never say never.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You know what I mean? When I was on MTV, it was I went in and I got a couple of, I guess, development deals. In those days, it was like $50,000 was a lot of money. And I had a couple of those, and you just sit there. But if you don't understand the basics, which your generation understands, which is if you don't do it yourself, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So if you didn't do that movie yourself, it wouldn't happen.
Without question, it wouldn't happen.
And that's how, even back then, like they do these development deals, and you're like, you know, they just go in the ether. They want that's part of their culture is
of course
keeping people in meetings and all that stuff.
Yeah. It's all
the meetings are part of the business.
Pretend to make
product, but don't make it because it's a pain in the ass.
Paying a guy to dig up a hole and then paying a different guy to fill the hole back in.
Yeah,
there's a lot of what it is. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And that's what you don't understand unless you're, you know, unless you're sharper than I was.
Yeah, well, but at this time you also made around this time you also, or soon after, made an appearance in truly one of my favorite films, Night at the Roxbury.
That was when I was on SNL.
Oh, okay. Oh, so
and I had a bad attitude about that too.
Yeah. It comes through in your performance, but I like it. I think it lends to the character.
It really does.
I was afraid when we first met. I told you I liked Night at the Roxbury, and then in hindsight, I was like, "Did he think I was fucking with him?" Because I actually loved that movie.
No, truly. A lot of people like that movie.
It was like one of those like.
It wasn't a bad movie.
It was much better than it gets credit for. It is weird that Chris Kattan is the lead and Will Ferrell is the supporting character. In hindsight, that's weird. But it's also a fun relic of its time. But at the time,
yeah.
And then you know, and you were great in it, and then the uncredited, Ch Palminteri.
Oh yeah,
like his name's nowhere in the credits.
It's
not? No, it's not there. And it's like
he was great.
He was great.
He's always great.
He's looking like an Armenian guy, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. It was
really
fun.
Great performance. I think that movie's legitimately, and I watched it recently, being like, I was a fucking dumb kid. This sucks. Loved it. I loved it maybe even more.
By the way, speaking of resentful performances that were brilliant, Richard Grieco.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He goes. So Chris Kattan goes. So you're gonna meet up? You're gonna hang out? You talk to Johnny Depp lately? And he goes. Here you go. Because Amy Heckerl's a great director, as you know. Yeah. And he goes, no. But the way he said it
was incredible.
It was the best.
And you got to feel for Grieco because how many times did he get that?
Yes.
And it's like, he got to put it on wax, basically. How he wished he could respond to every dickhead that asked him that question.
Oh my God. It was one of the greatest deliveries of one line. Yeah. It's right up there with, you ever see Laverne and Shirley?
I've seen it. Yeah.
Anyway, but Michael McKinney, so he said Lenny and Squiggy, they would come in and go, hello.
Yeah.
And their hello would make everybody, especially when it came out, you just laugh because they were hopeful and also resentful because they were so bullied all their life. Yes. And they come in, hello. And I just used to cry at the great, like anybody can give a one line.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just, or even a look, sometimes in film. Those are the moments that make you cry.
And it's also such that performance, this is great. Let's get really into Night at the Roxbury because that performance is also, that resentment kind of runs through this whole thing because you have to get a guy and the pitch is, we need you to play yourself. We know you have nothing going on. You have to be a shell of your former self.
Yes.
You need to be so... need to be so available to truly the biggest idiots of all time. Have to have something over on you,
right?
And then you also have to appear as a shell of yourself,
right?
On this, this is the only. I mean, I don't know if he was in anything after that. You know
I don't either. I don't. I mean, there are a couple of movies, but no.
But that's a powerful energy in a film. Is a guy who doesn't want to be there but has to be and kind of resents it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And I mean, he was, I mean, I was obviously out there during the time when he first blew up, you know.
Yeah, true.
And he did, you know, he was in a couple of movies, but I don't think by that point he had anything.
No.
But it was so funny because he delivered that line with all of his whole chest, as they say.
It was fucking beautiful.
No.
Great movie.
And even at the time I was like, that was just funny. And she's a great filmmaker. She made, you know, Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, yeah. Holy fuck, wait.
Amy
I guess I didn't even realize that
Amy Heckerling
makes
directed
so much sense. That's why it's a good movie, folks. Night at the Roxbury. Don't watch Colin's special. Don't watch my movie. No. Go watch Night at the Roxbury.
I mean, I'm not going to recommend that one, but I would say go watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High. But I mean, Night at the Roxbury. Night at the Roxbury was not bad.
No, it's good.
But again, you know, I don't know why I had a bad attitude. I tried not to do it. You know?
Yeah, did you just not want to do anything other than
what I like, what I write?
Just classic.
I've been like that my whole life.
Abstinence.
I just want to do my projects, and I never got to do them. It's really kind of an ironic thing.
Is there one White Whale project still out there?
No, there's 10.
There's 10.
They're all based in like 6 neighborhoods in Queens.
Right.
Astoria's in them,
right.
and Brooklyn.
All right.
And the Bronx.
It's about this cool guy that's getting pussy on MTV.
No.
no, I'm kidding.
Well, my first project, which is another famous story of the delusions of me.
Yeah.
When Crocodile Dundee 2 had one line, you know. So I rewrote the whole script about Paul Hogan, who was the hugest name in show business at the time, being led around New York by a cool guy.
You rewrote it?
Who rewrote
just
it? Me.
And
I handed it to the director.
So you're cast with one line, and you're like, I got something that's going to button this up, make this a much better picture.
I think I actually said to him, like, hey, you know, I'm from New York. This New York part doesn't really feel real. That was before MTV, by the way.
That's fucking insane.
I mean, I was like fucking Rupert. I'm like Rupert Pumpkin.
I'm like, how do you even respond to getting that?
He was Australian, thank God. Okay. He goes, oh yeah, mate, thanks.
Yeah. Right, the accent does a lot of work.
And he's just like,
to paper over that
asshole. I'm in more trouble to fire him than just fucking ignore him. If that was an American director, they would have said, get this piece of shit off the film. The Australians like, fucking
cast for one line. Rewrote the whole script is incredible, man.
I mean,
so awesome. Yeah. I can't. That's fucking awesome.
What a fucking delusional bastard. I'm like Rupert Pumpkin.
Did you ever have, what was the first creative pursuit you had as like even a kid? Was there a thing where you were like, ooh, this is awesome?
I mean, no, but I was funny. You know, I was always making people laugh.
Yeah.
And that was creative, so you know what I mean? Like,
Gotcha.
When I would speak and people start laughing, you get into that whole thing where you're like, shit, I'm funny.
This is fun,
And people would go, you're funny. You know what I mean?
You never wrote like a play or something as a little kid? Or
wrote
like
a play?
You know what I mean? Like made people play act or anything like that?
Yeah, sure I did. Yeah, of course, but I can't remember them.
Gotcha,
but I mean,
gotcha.
Yeah, me and my sister, we had a tape recorder.
Yeah.
Me and my sister, my friend, my sister Jenny, who was also into stuff too, and we did the Johnny Borsum show instead of Johnny Carson. I wish I had the same. So I'm like, Johnny Borsum, and then Raquel Welch comes out, and I go, and my sister's playing Raquel Welch, and so we had a couple of big tit jokes. And I go to my sister, I go, boy, Raquel, you're really popping out all over the place or something. She goes, thanks, Johnny. She's like 7.
Yeah. You're making big tit jokes on your 7-year-old sister.
Yeah, and she's like improving.
Yeah.
Thanks, Johnny.
You're like, good stuff.
I wish I had that.
Were you like did you go to like Catholics? Were like nuns hitting you? Where's the abstinence come from?
She went to Catholic school, actually.
Oh, interesting.
No, I went to public school, but that was wild. I probably should have gone.
Yeah.
Actually, to give you an idea of the public schools, we went to public school, so my brother and sister had to go to Catholic school because public schools were buck wild, as they say in those days. No, the abstinence I think I was just born that way.
Yeah.
I think a lot of comedians are born with exactly that. Just whatever they call that, we have defiance disorder.
Yeah.
And you just look at everything and because even now, if I remember meeting a young comedian in Pittsburgh, like 10 years ago, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're Colin Quinn. You're doing comedy." I'm just starting. It was like open mic in Pittsburgh, working at the hotel or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, all nervous. And so I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna be nice to this guy. Give him a couple of." So I told him, I said, "Show me your stuff." And he showed me his stuff. I go, "This could be, that could be a good." And he's looking at me like,
"Yeah,
I got it, bro." And I was like, "That's a comedian."
Yeah.
He's like, "Don't worry about me. Worry about yourself." I just told you I'm doing open mics. I don't need anybody helping my fucking material.
It is awesome how sure you are that you know what you're doing.
You have to be.
Yeah, it's true.
Comedians are tough as shit. People don't realize. Even comedians are like,
well, delusional is, I think, how I would put it.
Yeah.
It's a delusion. You have to be so delusional that it is toughness. Because if you were to actually look at the odds against you, how bad you are when you start, how many better, like, looking, more talented, more everything people. Like, if I wasn't fucking stupid, I mean, the fact that I was in a movie, like, I can't even believe they let me star in a movie. I am so fat and ugly compared to fucking a guy. I could be in the movie. I could be the guy whose pants fall down and then they hit him with a fucking pie in the face. But in my head, I was like, nah, I'm a star, baby. And it's like,
that's right, baby.
You have to be that fucking delusional.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, because it is.
Yeah.
I don't like this weird positive thing about. I just think comedians should always view themselves as losers first and foremost.
That's right.
And I think it is it's the delusional factor. We aren't really special. A lot of people, if they put this amount of hours in, could be good at this.
Absolutely.
But they're helping the world.
Well, I don't know if they're helping the world.
Or whatever. They're like,
but they don't have that delusion.
Or they at least have. They're
but
just
it's
like,
also. But here's why people like
they
us.
did the math and they were like, oh, I should
But the
just get a
positive
job.
side of it is also that we have always the producers when Zero Marcel leans out the window to what's the name and he goes, "That's right. If you got it, flaunt it." And like that's why people like us.
Yeah,
because they're like, "Hey, I'm not gonna fucking do the work and be up there.
Yeah.
Fucking go for it.
You do it, baby. You fucking freak."
You ever see Officer and a Gentleman?
Sure, yeah.
Great movie. Mm-hmm. So at the end, her friend who ended up having the boyfriend get killed, and he calls her a twat. She goes off with Richard Gere. And she's with nobody. Yeah. She wanted to get married too. And she goes like this, "Yeah, Paula." And I feel like that's how people feel about stand-ups.
Yeah, good for
They're
you.
Like, "Yeah, you're right. You're not as talented as these gorgeous actors and singers, but fuck them too.
Fuck them.
We're with you." That's why people like comedians.
I know.
They want to be as delusional as we are. They know we're fucked up.
I think
they know we're not that great.
Of course not.
But they fucking love us for it.
And that's why there should be some. We should be against the. There is a little bit of an epidemic of comedians being cool, which is a big problem.
I hate cool. Cool is the opposite of comedy.
Big problem. Yes. Anyway, well, we have a lot. Let's not just give general comedy platitudes. Let's actually help the people, Colin. You're a man with a ton of beautiful life experience. We didn't even get to delve into all of it. You'll have to come back, but we have people call in. I don't know if we even told you how the show works, but we have we do some voicemails and we give people advice. So it's half interview, half advice show. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. We're gonna get you right off the. Sorry, we're bad at
it's better that
telling
way.
our guests. Yes, Eldest, play us some.
Yeah, you guys give me no prep. Not that I give a shit. It was all worth it for that speech you just made. That's exactly right.
Thank you, man.
Delusional and not that great, but you have to admit it. That's why people love us.
Absolutely. It shouldn't work.
They're
and
like,
it's funny.
"Fuck yeah, I wouldn't." Yeah, I didn't do it, but you did it. Do it.
You should be the avatar for fat slobs everywhere.
I always say
as a comedian.
I always say, speaking of cool and comedy, I go, we're not the people that are in the fucking trendy party. We're outside, and they're not letting you in.
Yeah.
Your clothes are off.
Yeah,
you
like,
just
fuck
don't
him.
have the fucking look.
Yeah.
To be in that goddamn Oscar party.
Yeah.
You're looking out the window.
Totally.
And
you're like, that fucking piece of shit. He's not that. And then the famous guy walks by. You're like, hey, dude.
Exactly.
Hey, can I come in? Play us something, Eldest.
Hello, Stavros, Eldest. I have issues ejaculating.
Okay.
Within the last year, I was diagnosed with OCD, and I've been medicated on it, and I'm on 2 different medications. The medication allows me to function. It allows me to go out and leave my house. It allows me to go to different places. It allows me to break my routine, which I appreciate. I've really enjoyed being able to take the medication and getting my life back.
Okay.
The issue is I now have pretty much no ability to come. Even if I'm masturbating myself, I usually become tired or in pain. I've damaged my penis in some way, or my balls have bruised. Because we're talking double-digit minutes of jacking to come. The issue is my wife, it's probably her favorite part of sex is me coming in or around her or on her in some way. And I'm not really able to perform that currently. I have thought that maybe we could do more degrading things in the bedroom for her, which I think she would enjoy as well. But I don't want to make her do strange things or weird things and still not come. It would make her feel worse. And that's kind of the thing is I'm worried that I'm making her feel bad every time we have sex and I don't come. I'm still enjoying sex with my wife. I love my wife. We've been together for 10 years.
Hey.
But this has just been a tough 6 to 7 month period of time where I'm just really not able to come, even with all of her moves, her tried and true moves she does. The people on your podcast do seem to be able to come freely and frequently. Maybe you could give me some advice on maybe to get out of my own head and be in the moment and come more easily, or maybe I need to get off the medication. Any advice I'd really appreciate. Thanks.
Well, this is good. We didn't prep Colin, and we're like, maybe Eldest will ease us in with a question, but no. Immediately, some fucking freak jizzing in his wife is what we're hitting Colin with right off the top. I have some thoughts. I don't know if you have any.
I have some, sure. I mean, you have to have thoughts on what he just said.
Well, first of all, is your wife a fucking child? Like, you had OCD and you finally had medication. That gets your shit under control, and she's mad you can't cream pie her. She's not going to take the trade-off of like, oh, he doesn't have to, OCD. It's like, now he doesn't have to, obsessively, whatever the fuck you're doing, counting straws before you have a drink, or what you're not insane anymore, basically. But she's mad that you can't bust. Feels kind of insane. Feels like a crazy thing for your wife not to not to understand. Have you tried talking to her, I guess, is a big one. Now, if it's all about the physical jizzing aspect, have you thought about a fake dick or some kind of performative, I don't know, Nickelodeon slime-like situation where at the end of sex you could push a button, and you could, or maybe a small super soaker you could tape to the underside of your balls that's filled with some kind of jizz-like substance. Or what do they use when you have to fake a piss test? You know what I mean? A nice warm flagon of fake cum. I'm just spitballing here, but I don't know. Colin, you have any thoughts here?
Well, I had T-Dick for many years.
What's T-Dick?
T-Dick is when I would drink tea.
Literal, like tea, chamomile.
Yeah, like tea.
Earl Grey.
Any kind of tea, and I hate Earl Grey.
Okay.
I don't like
Sorry.
I don't know.
My apologies.
I don't want anyone to ever give me a cup of Earl Grey if they watch
British.
this.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, Earl Grey killed my ancestors. He was a landowner. No, I don't. I had T-Dick where I would come if I drank tea back in the 80s. I would get really. My dick would hurt.
If you had tea, I notice you're drinking some right now.
I'm not planning on coming. And on MTV, we would literally have everybody, like I said, we'd go out and they'd be like, uh-oh, Colin's drinking tea. And they'd tell some girl, don't even bother talking to him.
They see Colin with a brisk, you better watch out, girls.
I love tea.
Yeah.
So I understand if you're saying he becomes in pain.
Right. Well, he's saying he just can't
from
come.
the medication.
Right.
Well, he says usually become tired or in pain. Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just
I think he needs to. Think he needs to. First of all, the fact that he hasn't Googled any of this is infuriating. He acts like he came with this thorough problem. He gave us the most surface level of a thorough problem I've ever heard. So you're not serious about this.
It's also, what are we going to do, man? It's a fucking medication. It's changed you should talk to your doctor.
But again, and we're taking his word for it.
True. That is true.
This whole thing, he's on 2 medications for OCD. He doesn't mention what they are.
Right. That's right.
You know what I mean? Was he afraid we're going to research him? Give us the name of all thousands of people on Concerta in the whatever area.
Eldest will run some toxicology reports, let you know what's going on. It is interesting, though. He seems to be worried about his wife more than anything. He seems to be worried about, her favorite parts of sex, or she's not doing she's doing her tried and true moves and he's not busting. That would be annoying to me if I was in a relationship with somebody and I knew how to make her come and then all of a sudden it was gone. I would feel inadequate. But if we had a conversation and we're like, hey, I hope you're not feeling this way. This is just the medicine that makes me not shit in the toaster oven. This is the trade-off here.
Well,
I think she would understand it.
But I feel like he's saying two things here. One is he can't come and his wife doesn't like it. And two, he's kind of saying maybe I'll try some new things with my wife.
That's a great point. That's a really good point.
Hey, I like where this guy's going.
Maybe, and he said
maybe it's not really about the medication.
He's put up a smoke screen to be able to put his wife in a gimp suit. He's like, and he's talking about weird degrading stuff.
I know.
Where did that come from?
Exactly.
Where the fuck did that come from?
That was a left turn that we appreciated, but at the same time.
No, you're right. You're so right, Colin. This guy's trying to use his new medicine as a way to fucking, write whore on his wife's face with lipstick and spit on her.
Yeah.
And so, man. Did she ask for that? Or is that's your solution?
He spits in her face and goes, is that viscous enough for you?
Yeah, man, I would try talking to your wife before I would hit her pussy with a mace. Next question, Elders. Holy shit. What the fuck's going on? Holy fuck. You know what time it is, guys?
No, man.
It's a fucking crazy time, man. It's time to keep it twisted. It's time to keep it twisted. Time to keep it twisted on this week's Keep It Twisted question of the most fucked up twisted question of the week. We still don't have an official name for the segment, but now is the time.
That's good.
And Elders, play us a twist. Let's see if these people are going to keep it twisted with this twisted ass call.
Keep it twisted.
Yo, how's it going, Stav? First time caller, long time listener, guest, Elders. Hope you guys are doing good. So just a little problem I have with me and my girlfriend. I'm 23, she's 21. We've been together for about 3 years now. Love this woman. She's the love of my life, and she's, everything to me. Wow. The thing is, in her past, she has had, girlfriends, and I'm totally cool with that. I personally haven't had boyfriends, but, I don't care about her past. I like her as a person.
Interesting.
Thing is, when she's around me, she's totally, cool, totally normal.
Okay.
And then the thing is, when we hang out with her friends, then that's when I notice a little bit of a personality swap. We'll go out to like a club, and she will spend the entire night just twerking and sometimes even making out with her friends.
Wait, what?
And I get left in the dust. And I know some guys, maybe that's like something they like, where they like think that that's hot. That's not me.
Okay.
The girl wasn't even that hot. Kind of just really pissed me off.
Sure.
I know it's harmless. I need to know if I'm making a big deal about this or if, it's actually an issue,
Right.
All right. Well, that's my question. Hope you guys are doing good.
Yeah, man. Wow. It sounds like she's really keeping it pretty twisted.
That is a twisted question.
She's keeping it very twisted.
Twisted woman. So because of the segment, I'm going to have to back her in everything that she does. Because I think that this is very much in the spirit of the Twisted Tea.
Go out
and fucking lesbian makeout.
Right. Responsibly, of course.
Responsibly.
Don't overdrink. Drinking responsibly.
Please don't overdrink.
It's a delicious 5% alcohol by volume drink, just enough to get you a nice little buzz, but you're still responsible.
Yeah.
And you're keeping it twisted. You're making out with other ladies. You're twerking and that sort of thing. This guy's hilarious because he's like, what is he, 23? And the girl's 21.
Responsible age to drink.
Been together, yeah.
True.
And I'm glad you just started. I'm glad your girlfriend just started drinking this year. And she's certainly keeping it twisted.
Yes.
Now, been together 3 years. And the question is like, hey man, when I go out, like, let's just break down what he's told us. He goes out to the club with his girlfriend. She doesn't pay attention to him, and she dances suggestively and makes out with other people.
She cheats on him at the club.
At the club.
In front of him. And he's asking if this is a red flag. I would say it is as red as the raspberry twisted tea right here at the top of the can.
That's as red a flag as the delicious, refreshing red of the
And
raspberry.
by God, the hint of raspberry in this makes me want to do all this sort of stuff. This beautiful
I gotta go to the club right now and twerk. I gotta start making out with men and women.
Yeah,
that's how twisted I'm feeling right now.
I think this is at least worth, maybe talking to her about.
Yeah.
If I had to.
I'm glad you came to us first.
Yeah, before you mentioned
that. Before you even said, like, hey, this is kind of making me uncomfortable. Let me ask a podcast first.
Yes.
Love that.
And so I think we can say that your girlfriend is keeping it a little too twisted right now with this.
Much.
I would dial back how twisted I'm keeping it if I were her. And I also have bad news for you. You're 23, she's 21. You've been together 3 years. I don't know if you survive this. I got to be honest. This is the kind of behavior, like, you've been together since she was 18 and you were 21, whatever. Like, dude, if she might just have this in her, and other guys would roll with the punches. Don't get me wrong, also mentally ill. But sometimes mentally ill people align, and he's like, yeah, that's my fucking bitch. Go kiss those. You know what I mean? Go kiss. Like, but that doesn't seem to be you. You don't like this. Definitely have a conversation with her. Tell her it makes you uncomfortable. You're secure. If you're feeling that secure, I almost don't want to talk him out of it. Yeah. He's just like, I would not be able to handle this.
I would give her a taste of her own medicine.
Yeah,
okay. How about you head down to the spa?
Yeah.
You say, let's go do a double date massage.
Yes.
And you start just getting it in the hot tub with all sorts of guys. And then you're like grossing yourself out, making out. See?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
You understand what we're talking about. You're probably toast, if I have to be completely honest with you.
It seems like she's barely concealing how little she cares about your relationship, if that's what she's doing.
Now, that we're being negative, glass half full. This is literally, I also did know girls who considered this just having a good time in college, right?
Yeah.
But but if that's and it's not even, I'm not even saying it's wrong. You just have to be able to roll with the punches. If you can't roll with the punches, the odds of getting somebody to stop behaving like this at 21 when that's what's in their heart, very low. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Have a conversation. You owe it to yourself, but also be prepared for it to not go the way you want. And, that's all and then if it doesn't go the way you want, get a little twisted.
Just get a couple of twisted. Yeah. One can of every flavor.
One can. It's
so hard to
try
get
the
variety pack.
Get the variety pack. It's good. Drink it responsibly. Perfect for game day or a nice kickback with friends.
Or just alone at home.
Oh, yeah. Whatever it is. Just make sure, just remember, buddy.
Keep it twisted.
All right. That ought to do it for the keep it twisted question of the week or day or whatever the fuck the name is.
That was a beautiful, drop right there.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we got it down to a science. So that was, that guy's...
He's toast.
He's fucked.
Keep it twisted.
Hey, Savi. Hey, Eldis. Hey, esteemed guest. I am dating a wonderful woman. She is smart, generous, loving, caring, patient. But the only issue is she is extremely sensitive and on the more jealous and insecure side of things. If I breathe in the wrong direction or say hi to a woman the wrong way, she'll get upset and we'll have a conversation about it. And she wants me to validate her feelings. And I genuinely don't know how I'm supposed to validate feelings when I think they're dumb.
Wow,
I know that's awful to say, but how do I validate someone's feelings when I can't empathize with what the reaction was? For example, there was a girl dressed in a costume with a bunch of friends. I complimented the entire group, not just her, but because I complimented even a woman on their group costume, we had to have a conversation about it. And I'm of the opinion that it's okay to have these feelings, but I don't think it's important to have a conversation on every small feeling that you have, because now when there is something that we need to talk about, and I do need to validate her feelings about a real situation or a bigger situation, my feelings and my emotional capacity is at the bottom of the floor.
Guy.
And it's really starting to weigh on me heavily. And I'm starting to think it may not be.
I mean, we're not your fucking girlfriend. Relax with the therapy language, man. I've told people every time you call in, we're your defense attorney. You have to tell us the truth. Don't come at me with your stupid bullshit. This is clearly he's talking at us the way he would talk to his girlfriend.
Yeah, yes.
And also your whole attitude is atrocious. But let's finish up. Everything about the way he's talking about this pisses me off. I'm on her side already just by how he's behaving. And just his cadence is pissing me off. But let's finish it. I wonder.
Weigh on me heavily, and I'm starting to think it may not be the best for a successful long-term relationship. I'm wondering if I just give it more time. We're a fairly new relationship, under 6 months. I'll just say 5 months.
Thank you.
And I'm wondering if over time she'll become more secure in the relationship. She doesn't like any interaction with other women. I'm not allowed to watch porn, no strip clubs, and even clubs with bottle girls.
Porn?
Become an issue at a point.
Wait, how many
so I'm not sure what to do here.
Are you going to?
Is there an opportunity for this to get better, or is this going to get worse? Thanks, guys.
This is fascinating because he sucks. I mean, he's a fucking piece of shit, but she also sounds like a nightmare. It's really hard to understand what's going on here because we have a very unreliable narrator here yet again, where I'm not taking anything he's saying with at face value, but also they've been together 5 months. And he's already talking about he's not allowed to go to strip clubs. Okay. And then he says not even clubs with bottle girls. As that becomes an issue at a point. How many times you go in 5 months? How many times are you in a 5 month period? How many times you go into strip clubs or bottle service club? It's like what the fuck? How is this an issue in your life? And maybe she has a point. If it starts with you're at a strip club every week. Anyway, this is fucking insane.
Yeah. Unless this is like Antonio Brown or some. I mean, this guy's like, he's got to be either football or basketball professional.
right.
To get away with this kind of bullshit. Yeah. Girls are like, they go to strip clubs all the time. They go to bottle clubs.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
by yourself?
Humongous balls.
Yeah. I know, dude. It's like nothing. You both sound horrible is kind of what it comes down to. She could be over. Now, he's saying he's not allowed to watch porn. That's psychotic. I'm not allowed.
5 months in a relationship, you shouldn't be watching porn yet.
But the fact there's a hard rule about the fact that that's been discussed, I'm with you. In the honeymoon phase of a relationship, you will naturally watch less porn.
Yeah.
But if your girlfriend sits you down and says, "And now that we are official, no pornography," that's weird. You know what I mean? Like, what? My girlfriend's going to yell at me if I watch porn 4 months into a relationship?
But as you said, this whole thing feels false somehow.
Yeah.
There's something strange going on here.
There is.
I mean?
There is something very strange.
I don't know what it is, but there's something odd about him and this relationship. It just doesn't ring true in some way.
Yeah.
Unless he wants help from you to gaslight her.
Right.
Which I guess most of these letters, Robbie, that's what they want. That's their motive.
No, you're absolutely right, because he starts with the therapy language, and then it's like, and I'm not even allowed to go to strip clubs or bottle service clubs. I mean,
yeah.
And then I'm very dubious of his example of the group cost. It's like, that sounds so like a out of context couple fight, where it's like, it makes no sense to anyone but the two people involved.
Well,
where it's like, what are you talking about?
I'll tell you what it is. Some young girls are walking by in their Catholic school uniforms, and this pervert, like that meme, turns around and says, "Hey girls, they really wear them shorter these days, huh? The church is really lenient." And she's like, "Stop it." He's like,
whoa, you're trying to get me to empathize with your position, but I simply don't have the emotional capacity right now.
Yeah. I wonder what these costumes were. It's not it's good Halloween, post-Halloween crime.
Yes. So whatever, man. No, this isn't going to work, and I don't know whose fault it is, but it's definitely not going to work.
I'll tell you one thing. we know one thing: you're up to something.
Yeah, you definitely are up to no good.
You can fool her.
You cannot fool us.
You can fool every woman with some language. You're probably really good looking. You're up to something.
You're up
you
to
know
something.
it, and we know
and
it.
you know it. Yeah, exactly. That's what we take away from this.
Yeah.
You change your ways, whatever they are. Stop it.
You're not
right
gonna.
now. Yeah,
but we know you're up to something.
We don't know what they are. We don't know the details, but no more. All right, any non-perverts, Eldest? What do you got? Are you going to go through? What do we got here? Go ahead.
All right, stop. I hope this is not on a Patreon episode because I don't fucking
Fuck
pay.
you.
But I want to focus on moderation. I work in a bar. You know, I'm smoking cigs. I'm doing extracurriculars. I'm drinking. And I just like, what is your advice on just kind of like, not Xing out because I feel like that's kind of unhealthy to like totally nick something. But just to kind of like chill out and like have fun, but not like take it to the nth degree. And I feel like I've been kind of doing that.
What are you talking about?
Love to hear the advice. Love the show.
Chill out on what moderation?
Yeah.
Just life in general, chill out.
He's saying he's at a bar.
Yeah.
He's basically like, how can I do just a little pills? How can I, you know what I mean? It's like, that's not how it works, brother. You know it. You know it. We know it. Come on. We've got a lot of delusion on the show today.
That's a good one.
I'm drinking and I just like, what is your advice on kind of not acting out? Because that's unhealthy.
Right.
But just chilling out. You know if you're a guy who can do that. How old are you, right? I mean, he didn't say how old he was, but you work at a bar. I mean, one thing I've learned is that your willpower sometimes is only as strong as your location. And for me, I had to spend a lot of time. I literally went to Baltimore for a few months, wasn't near any temptation, and I've been sober I want to do a sober year. It's been going good. I was eating clean, and then the last month I'm back in New York. I'm doing gigs. I'm traveling all out. I mean, I'm still sober, but the eating has been shitty, and it's like, buddy, you work at a bar. What's your life look like? If you work in a situation where it's that tough, I don't know that you can toe the line like that.
Well, but it depends on the bar. I worked at bars when I was sober.
Really?
Yeah, I was a bartender. But it depends on the bar.
But that's also a good point. You were sober. You weren't like, I'll have 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you were like,
it depends on the bar. Yeah.
I just think the idea of anyone talking about moderation to this degree isn't someone who.
And by the way,
moderation.
And not only that, but guess what? Everyone knows the bartender's not supposed to drink.
Yeah.
And he's not supposed to do drugs.
Yeah. I think personally, here's my take on the situation. Just keep doing it until your life gets bad and then go sober. You're young, you work at a bar, it's a fun time. No one who works at a bar does it. You know, it's not your career probably. Well, it might be some people, but
yeah, your problem is psychological. You got to join Patreon.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're showing too much moderation in how you look at this podcast. You need to commit fully, and until you fully commit to things like being a fan of a podcast, your career, whatever it is, I'm just random examples here. You won't be able to fix your life at all.
No.
Okay, we didn't have enough information. I feel like you can cook up a nice banger for us here, Aldous. What do we got? Something to really sink our teeth
I saw
into.
one that had a couple of curses and it said, "You Albanian idiot." I don't know who that was. Sounds like they have a grudge.
Hey, Scott. Hey, Eldest. I love you guys. But yeah, I'll just get into my questions.
All right.
So I really would love your honest feedback with this, and I am fully prepared for you guys to say what a crazy bitch I am for complaining about this. But anyways, so like most couples, my husband and I send each other like memes and TikToks and Instagram reels and whatever. And I notice that my husband like never responds or likes the stuff I send him. And the last like few days I've kind of like been asking him, why don't you like the stuff I send you? And I kind of lost my cool and told him this last time that it really hurts my feelings when he doesn't like the stuff I send him or respond to it. And, I mean, it does obviously go deeper. As a woman, I'm thinking, you don't love me. You don't think I'm funny. But anyways, his response was, well, people send me a lot of stuff. I don't always have time to get to it. And
holy shit, that's incredible. Hey, come on, my fucking inbox is out of control. You want me to send a fucking like to everyone who sends me a meme? Oh man, that's awesome.
yeah, that was not what I wanted to hear. I feel like I am a pretty funny person, and also I'm not like a ball buster type wife. I am very supportive of anything and everything he wants to do. I ask for very little. And yeah, it does hurt my feelings when you don't respond to the stuff I send you or think that it's funny. But yes, Stav, tell me what you really think. Am I crazy? Is this a valid reason to be upset? I love you guys. Thanks. Bye.
Incredible stuff here. People send me a lot of stuff. It's so good when your wife is that mad at you. I mean, there's a couple different issues here. And this could be, it is very funny, but it is a potential canary in the coal mine situation. Sure. Where it's like, look, it's memes, whatever, but if your wife was texting you and you just didn't respond, if she texted you 10 times in a row, that would be weird. Yeah. The fact that it's like memes is like, okay, even if it's like a little annoying, it's like, it's just a weird, rude thing to do to your wife. This is your dumb. I've certainly been in group chats with friends that abuse the meme thing, and it's like, you just stop responding.
That's right.
Or somebody you don't know that much, I'm done. It's his fucking wife. He's got to do a little something here.
Yeah.
He's got to hit her a charity LOL every once in a while, even if you don't mean it. I mean, this is
hard. It
is weird because it's on the surface very frivolous, but I get why her feelings are hurt in a weird way.
Of course. If somebody did that to me, I'd be pissed. And I'm a professional. Right. This guy, you're right. He's being a hostile prick, passive-aggressive prick, or she sends 50 of these a day, and she's a psychopath.
It's true.
And she's got the hackiest taste.
That's the other part.
And it's shit that you see all goddamn day, and he's like, honey, we've discussed this. I see this shit all day.
I don't need to fucking see the Rizzler anymore. He's funny. I like the Rizzler. I liked him the first 5 times. I don't need to see him, fucking review Cool Ranch Doritos. It's not that interesting to me.
Boom.
I don't need to know how many booms the new McFlurry gets. The limited edition Halloween McFlurry got 4 booms, but that's not necessary to me right now.
Yeah.
Now, there is 2 separate things here, though, right? One is simply responding to someone that you care about. Right. And the other one was, and she's like, I feel like you don't love me, whatever. But the second one was, I feel like you think I'm not funny.
Right.
And and I'm not going to take the hack easy way approach here.
Right.
I am just going to say it is possible your tastes differ. Your tastes in humor differ.
That's right.
So him ignoring you is rude.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have been married for a while. Do you have the same taste? If you do, if you think you find the same stuff funny, then forget what I'm saying. But if you know that certain things you differ in, you're going to have to... I think there's a little compromise here where it's like, you can't live or die by if he thinks you're funny or not.
Right.
And he can't totally ignore you. You have to... Your super valid point here is you're ignoring me. But I'm a funny person, and I got news for you. Finding memes is not being funny.
That's
not being a funny person. I'm not even saying you're not funny, but I wouldn't let this affect how his judgment of somebody calling you funny. That's a completely different skill set. So,
well, yeah. And I mean, some memes, look, I remember I sent a meme to a group text to Keith, Voss, Norton, Bobby, and they started calling me a hack for putting out a meme. But I felt it was very appropriate to the situation and funny. So I'm taking her side. And just the fact that these fucking troglodytes had the nerve to call me a hack, it barely affected me. It's not like I'm like, hey, maybe I am a hack. I just sat there like, okay, fellas.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm saying so, so sometimes a meme can be, if it's appropriate to what you're talking about, but we don't know how many. She has to write back and say how many times a day this is happening.
Yes.
And show some of the memes to us. And then we have to see maybe he's not funny.
Sure.
And he doesn't get it.
Ooh, that's very possible. He could not be funny.
But it sounds like it's a her problem, just for the fact that he responded by going, people send me stuff all day.
I mean, people send me stuff all day.
Sounds like
crazy.
He's a little annoyed by all his friends. Because you know how it is. Like you said, you put a group text and people start sending memes.
It's too much.
You've seen them.
It's too much. Do you have a memes relationship with your wife, Eldis?
We definitely send stuff back and forth a lot. I've sort of gotten a little shit like this before because she'll send like 6 or something, and then I won't get to them for like a day or two because I am busy and I do get a lot of memes.
His wife sent this email.
That's so fucking awesome to be talking theoretically, and then we have this exact situation right here.
Yeah. No, she doesn't really care that much, but I don't know. I feel like with the memes, like you can't just send someone 10 memes in a row and expect them to like look at every single one.
That's right.
You have to pick your spots.
Sometimes when I send, especially when I'm sending a lot, it's like I know I got to put a little caption with each of these. Like add your own zinger, personalize it. That'll encourage the person to like click on it. Connect
little
the dots. Yeah, it's a little ruder
that's a
to
dangerous,
Yeah,
dangerous assignment.
It's true, but that there's a little more showing of your own funny skills.
You're personalizing.
Wait a minute, you guys are missing the point of my little stupid point.
Yeah,
which is if a meme fits the situation.
Right.
Now I realize I was saying I was to send one to those 4 idiots, but if a meme fits perfectly in what's going on,
4 people, by the way,
humor.
Those 4 people really understand the internet. The guys you're talking about, they probably don't even fucking. They missed it completely.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm saying if it fits the situation, it's perfect.
But I think basically either way you slice it, either if you want to just do it when it's completely appropriate, like Colin's saying, or in either way, you have to turn down your amount that you're sending without question. Without question, you're overdoing it a little bit. He's being rude. The truth is somewhere in the middle here, where it's like. But Eldis is also right that if you're going to send them, they gotta.
Yes.
You gotta add a little something to them. Don't just send 10 things you laughed at because that means nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
You're being lazy here. You're being kind of lazy if you're just sending 10 memes. Just the highlights, please. Or, like Colin said, if you're talking about something, be like, wow, this fucking bird is acting just like Sheila. Or whatever the fuck. I mean, that's how stupid what we're talking about is. But, don't get your, it is good to have this conversation, but you have to think about what it's really about, and you have to think, am I overdoing it? But you seem nice.
And, if she's like, sending him like some he's operating a pneumatic drill with his buddies, and she's saying, isn't this funny? It's just what I told you about my friends at the bachelorette party.
Here's where you really test him. Start sending him fucking wild shit.
Yeah.
Start sending him conspiracy theory memes.
Right.
You know what I mean? See if he's paying attention. then you know if he's tuning you out or not.
It could be a lot worse if she was sending him tit pics and he goes, people send me shit all day. He doesn't respond to them.
Ooh, that would be funny though. Send a titty pic in between 2 memes.
Yeah.
See if he gets to them. That's interesting. All right, we gave you a couple homework assignments. Good luck out there.
Hi, Stav. Hey, Eldis. Big fan. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I have a bit of this situation with a coworker. I'm kind of getting the vibe that she was sort of interested in me. romantically, which is fine. But if that's the case, I do not share that interest. I'm thinking that just because for the past couple months, we have each other's numbers for work purposes, but she's kind of been, making small talk and texting me randomly, asking, if I have any fun plans on the weekend. And it's kind of just been, it's been a lot of that. And, I'm just not, if that's the case, I'm not really interested in that way. I do want to be friends. For context, I'm an elementary school teacher, work with almost no men. Obviously, mostly women and also mostly older and leaning a bit conservative, which is fine. Not really, my type of people. So I don't have a lot of friends at work, but, I would consider this woman a friend and I want to stay friends with her. So I'm not sure how to approach this and avoid any awkwardness. And, if I'm sending any wrong messages or if I'm going to have to address this at some point or ignore it. So any advice you have, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow, this guy convinced that juicy prick is going to lose him a friend. This is crazy. I mean, has she said... I mean, I get that it is possible that she's being nice. You know what I mean? She hasn't asked you out or anything like that. I don't think you have anything to do now. Just you have to be ready if she tries to switch it up. You have to be ready to support your position and, maybe bring up a fake person you're dating or something like that. Get her off the scent. You get to be the hot girl that friend zones the nerd at work now. It's nice. I'm sure a change of pace for you, but I don't think it's an issue yet. I don't know. I mean, she hasn't made a big deal of it. She's just texting you. So maybe if you do hang out outside of work, it's only friend situations. But, this is one of the nice things about being a man in our society. This isn't a dangerous situation for you. This woman's not going to stalk you and, follow you home if you, reject her. Probably. I don't know. Who knows? You might be small. She might be large. But I don't think it's a big deal. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you think you're going to have a civilized conversation where you go, I still want to keep you as a friend, you're living in a dream world. You've already made an enemy for life by not banging her to begin with. So don't kid yourself. There's no getting away from this with you looking like a nice guy. Just know that.
Yeah,
so
this woman.
Just tell her you're on OCD medicine and you can't come.
That's a good point. Yeah, lady, look, the tap is shut off.
Yeah, I like what you said, which is make up either a fake relationship or make up a fake disease. Something that's half psychological and half STD related.
Ooh, a nice 50-50 split.
And just keep away from her.
It is interesting, though, because making up a fake relationship, if her behavior towards you changes, then she is trying to fuck you. She is
interested. What are you fun things you doing this weekend? Of course, that's the tell right there.
Probably, yes. Man,
what are you doing this weekend?
You're right. I'm just saying you got to do her due diligence here. It's like we just have to rule out all causes. This could just be a friendly woman.
She's not friendly.
She could be a foreigner, doesn't know American. You know what I mean? Baltimore City Public Schools has a lot of Filipinos that they bring in to teach.
Oh, is it New York?
Huh?
Is it New York?
Oh, I don't know where this is from. No, I was just guessing. Oh. I'm just saying, I have friends who work in schools, a lot of overly friendly foreigners trying to make American friends.
Yeah, but that's good.
You're probably right.
She could be lonely, but I think it's
You're obviously probably right. Just we still got to run the tests.
But even the fact that he goes, she might be attracted to me, which is fine. It's like,
I mean, what's going on here is this woman's ugly. I mean, that's what's happening. This guy's not fucking. Like, that's all there is to this question.
You're not bucking. But also, you seem very detached from the whole relationship thing. I think you might be asexual.
Again, that's a possibility. Again, I'm not going to rule anything out, but I do feel strongly he just doesn't want to fuck her at all. And if he did, if there was even one element of him that wanted, one thing he found attractive, this would be, hey, How do I break up with someone at work without my boss finding out and me getting fired? If she was hot, that's the question we're answering.
By the way, I know it's not New York City. He said all the other women are older conservative teachers.
Yeah.
New York City? Come on.
Yeah.
And first of all, he's chatting away on the phone with her.
Yeah.
You can't be chatting with some girl and expect her not to get attached to you.
Are they talking or are they texting?
I think he said she sends like texts.
Okay.
Either way,
yeah.
You're texting. That's a relationship.
I think you're right. I'm just saying you never know. But yes,
you're fine. Getting the vibe. Yeah, he's got it.
You're fine. Just fucking make up a girlfriend. Or just
make up a girlfriend or a boyfriend or something.
Yeah. Although that's lying, but whatever. Fuck this guy.
He's right. He's got to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
It's about to get ugly. It's already gotten ugly in her mind.
Now, I will say, if she is an unattractive, this is another unfortunate reality of the world we live in. Ugly women are beaten down by society so much.
That's right.
If he rejects her, she might just be like, okay, ha 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 ha.
That's
you know what I mean?
Brutal but true.
In a way that a disgruntled man might take.
That's right.
You know, might be
guys
violent.
all like,
yeah,
she doesn't want me. Yeah.
Fucking bitch.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
All right. So hopefully the patriarchy is your friend in this, my friend.
Hey, Stavi, I'm just curious what you think a appropriate timeline would be for a couple in their early 30s who are together, what an appropriate timeline is to move in together, engaged, married, and obviously it's going to vary. It's not a catch-all. There's people who've been together for a week, move in, get married, last forever. There's people who've been together for like 6 years and then it doesn't work out. But just your personal opinion and also your guest's opinion, what you think an appropriate timeline for those relationship landmarks are.
This is...
Okay, love the podcast, love your work.
I mean... Has there ever been a clearer question of what the subtext of a question is? Has it ever been clearer that this woman whose loser boyfriend loves me, right? She doesn't listen to the show. They've been fighting about moving in together. She's like, okay, let's see what your fucking idiot podcast host has to say about it.
This guy's sitting in the chair next to him.
He's just like, please stop, please stop, please stop, please stop. Don't say what she thinks. Don't say what she thinks. When this comes out, it's going to be the tensest moment in this relationship ever. They're just waiting for it to drop.
Oh my
like
God.
It's a fucking bomb.
Everybody else is waiting for the election. They're waiting for this.
Wow.
This is their election, yeah.
This is it. This is fuck. Decision 2024. Do I ask her to marry me or do we break up? Okay. Couple in their 30s who are together. What an appropriate timeline is to move in together and get. You're asking. See, here's where you fucked up, lady. And I'm sorry. I'm not going to assume you don't listen to the show. Maybe you're a good fan, a good friend, a good fan of the show, whatever. You fucked up because you were asking me, one of the most emotionally immature men in America. And even my friend here who is in a happy relationship, like, you guys dated a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, you met when you were younger, but still.
Yeah. I waited a while. You know?
And it was pretty clear you were going to end up together, but you just had that weird, you don't have the disease as bad as I do, but the just like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you know, yes. I think men in general skew a little, you know, well, we're together. What's the big rush to get married? We're going to end up married.
Oh, we got to get the freaking government. And now all of a sudden everybody's a libertarian when it comes to fucking getting married. They're like, what do we need paperwork to show our love? Okay, I don't know. I mean, early 30s.
See, I feel like in general, if you ask like a single guy in his 30s and a single girl in their 30s, their answers will be pretty far apart.
What do you think the guy would say? To move in together, I'm saying 2 years minimum. Just to move in. And then from moving into engagement, I guess could happen within that year. And then married another year, 4 or 5 years, I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably not what she wants to hear. I don't fucking know.
I feel like in general, women in their 30s would be like, you should know
2
you're ready
years.
to move in like by a year when you're dating in your 30s, and Yeah, maybe
year is so
engaged by
short.
like 2 years.
But I'm such a boy. I'm just a boy still. I'm just a young boy.
I know. She's
mean,
not going to get the answer she wants on
No.
the record here, unfortunately.
well, who knows? Maybe we're being misogynist. Maybe it's flipped. Maybe this guy really wants. I'm sure that's what it is. I'm sure a fan of this podcast really wants to commit, but the hot woman he's with doesn't want to. I don't know. Any thoughts on this, Colin? Before I have a couple other ideas
Sure.
here?
I mean, we all know that, like you said, it's like Chris Rock's joke. Remember he did the joke years ago about, he goes, women, after 3 dates, they're like, why are we bullshitting?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's basically it. This guy's stalling for time.
Right.
We all know the drill. We've all been pieces of shit our whole lives. The more you let him get away with, the more they get away with.
And you really
the bottom line is she's going to have to just lower the boom in a loving way.
Yeah.
And say, listen, I understand this is not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She just has to tell him, a lot of people say, hey, I'm going to break up. I don't even agree with that because sometimes the guy wants you to do that.
Right.
So, even though he'll regret it in the long run. So I think she needs to just be alpha and just go, listen, whatever Stav says, whatever anyone says, we're not just moving in together. We're moving in together. We're getting engaged and we're setting a date for marriage. It's happening.
Yeah.
And if you try to get out of it, you're going to regret it. And I'm going to have a couple of kids. This is happening.
Yeah.
After the second kid, you can decide whether you want to continue or not. But if you try to get out of it, there will be a price to pay.
There will be consequences.
I think threats is the only thing that
Threats
works.
is the only way. That is true. That honestly would work on me.
In the old days, the culture would threaten you guys.
Of course.
Your mother would say it, and you'd be like, my mother, the women in the family would say it. And then the men would shock you and go, hey, you hear what they said to you? You're getting married.
Get married.
And you're like, what the fuck? Or you'd be shunned from the family and friend circle.
Yeah, well, the men would be like, get married and fucking get a girlfriend.
Well, yeah.
They'd be like, what are you doing?
They're like,
get
you're
married.
doing this
Yeah.
because they understood the importance of community.
Yes, of course. The scene in Goodfellas where he's like, you got to go back
Right.
home. You got to go back. I can't have it.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro's like, it's annoying me. You can't be here.
Right.
It's like, at least there was the facade of a happy
That's
family.
right.
But I will, okay, so we gave you the answer you didn't want to hear, but I also, at first, but I will also say, I could see, I mean, being in your 30s, like, I could see a scenario where I've been a procrastinator my whole life. I always wait till the last second. I could see being in a serious relationship in the next year or two and really jumping the timeline just because I'm at the point in my life where I'm like, what am I doing? I don't want to live like a fucking kid anymore. So if I find somebody I really connect with, I could see, I just said 5 years, I could see it happening in a year or two, honestly, it just is case by case. Clearly that's not what's happening here with them, but I think, I just wanted to give her a little ray of hope of like, yeah, I could also see it being very fast because I don't know. But that's always how I've done everything in my life.
I just feel like any delay is just, we all know. We all feel it all the time.
Yeah.
Just, what I mean? It's like saying I'm going to join the gym in a year. You know what I mean? Either you join the gym or you don't. She's got to lay down the law.
I've done that before. I've worked my way up to join the gym.
He's living in that magic imaginary place that we all love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everything's
and she's like biological imperative.
Yeah.
And she's got to, say, listen, not only is this happening, it's not a question of breaking up. You have no choice.
I love that. I didn't even consider that because you're right. A coward, certainly like this, like myself, would love the out. You just don't want responsibility, whether it's marriage or continue. Like it's like, oh, this is awesome. I don't have to worry anymore.
She just understands.
Yeah.
You said the perfect word.
Yeah.
Your boyfriend's a coward.
He's a pure coward without question. Without question.
It's time for you to lower the boom.
This is nothing but cowardice, and he can be controlled easier than you think.
He needs to be bullied. He needs to be bullied.
I would love that.
Yeah.
That's my dream.
Yeah.
A hot woman forcing me to marry her. Oh.
That's right.
But that's how I'm putting it on my vision board.
That's how they used to do it. Everybody, it was like, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, go live somewhere else.
Yes. Go to the.
They would say, go get that magic apartment in Manhattan.
Yeah. I mean, that is
for a year.
Yeah. We'll see. All right, you got something good for us to go out on here, Eldest? We've already taken enough of Colin's time.
Where's the one where the Albanian was calling you a dumb Albanian?
I don't know. A lot of them start like that.
I should have known Elvis is one of those real Albanian names. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Elvis is Albanians and Puerto Ricans like those exotic names from the old days.
It's Eldis with it's a mix of two women's Albanian names.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's nice. It sounds like it.
What up, Stabby? Long time fan. Just took a girl out to see Let's Start a Cult. Thank you for the film. That was fantastic. I thought it was a lot funnier than she did, but I got a beater after. So just wanted to give you a shout out. Appreciate it. Thank you for the head and laugh. Peace.
Great question, man. Thanks for seeing the movie. I'm happy you got your dick sucked at the end of the movie. Have you gotten anybody telling you they've gotten head after tea and stamps? Fire up the YouTube special. Get your dick sucked, folks. Learn about the election. Well, that's nice. I like to hear that this guy got sucked off after going to the movie. That's the kind of thing I'm trying to bring back entertainment-wise. But all right, well, Let's Start a Cult will be in VOD. It probably is out by now. I don't fucking know. And watch Colin's special. It's on YouTube right now for free. And all the one-man... I mean, I'm a big fan of all the one-man shows. I went to the New York Story. I went to the... I think it was... You did... I think I saw it. I don't know where it was, but it was like a fun... I don't know if it was when it opened, the opening night.
Well, I'll save you the trouble of my one Greek friend, Tina, who's also from MTV. She goes... You really can't do the Greek accent. And I was like, I know.
It wasn't good. That is true.
I go, I know.
But it's a great, I mean, I love the, we got into, we didn't have enough time to talk about everything, but I do love all the one-man shows, and I do love that you start with, that you're actually drilling into a topic, and you actually do learn stuff, and if you're a big fan of whatever topic you're into, I mean, everybody that moves to New York loves it, and so that one to me really resonated because
that was my baby. Yeah,
it was awesome. It was so good. I mean, they're all great. So check out the newest one. It's out right now on YouTube. We'll link to it here, and we'll see you guys next.